Hello. Good afternoon. I want to talk about. I have been putting together a few stuff in this week or the week before. It's like a week and a half that I have been start putting some thoughts, some books, some ideas in my head. So I want to do this with you guys. I know that we have been talking maybe for 2 months already, but I want to tell you that how do I just trust God, move to the United States and change my life forever? When I met my husband, he has 22 years old, I has 24, so I'm 2 years old older than him. But the funny thing on this is that when I okay, there are things that I just learned how to call it, right? So let me just give it to you the raw information. I saw a magazine in Puerto Rico, they call it TV Guia. There were some small ones. And there's people from TV ads and things like that that you can know more about that kind of actors and actresses, right? So the thing is that I was looking in that magazine and I saw this guy, and it was his mom and his sister. She's just like a 6 years old little girl. And I look at him and I says, I can marry that guy. But I forgot about it, right? So I decide to live my life. I just what that guy in the magazine, right? It's like, yeah, you can purchase it and get it. Many years pass, and I met the guy from that magazine through a friend of us that we have in common, right? And we met. I recognized him. I know who he was. And the most amazing thing is that when I saw him the first time, my friend, she says, I know you're going to like him. The funny thing is that I forgot about the guy in the magazine. We were working, my friend, myself, and his friend, but we didn't know, right? We were working on selling cars, Toyota car in a dealership that he was one of the owners. And we met. I met my husband through them, and I liked that guy since the day that I saw him. But I think it was mutual because we were together since October 10, 1997. So that guy that I saw in that magazine, I ended up marrying him. Now we can call that manifestations. At that moment was like a comment. But what I want to tell you with it is that we do things just for fun or not knowing what we're doing, and they can be manifested in our lives without we having noticed. But at that moment, for him to be manifested in my life, I had to be so sure that I can marry that guy, that my heart and my brain can be cohered at the same time. They can be connected together. They know that I was talking about that. My heart feel it, my body feel it, and went to my brain. In that way, my connection, it was coherent. And that is one part of that, right? For me was like, oh my gosh, everything that I wanted, I always have it. That's the way that I used to see everything, right? So I just had to say something. If I want a job, I just had to be persistent to get the interview, and I know that I'm going to pass the interview and I'm going to get the job. So for me, I was doing this like normal, natural. It's like a God and I, we have a conversation. I said what I wanted, and he said, okay, you're ready. Now I know this is manifestation. Now I know these days, these latest days, talking and thinking and put a little bit more effort at what is really happening. I have been learning from Dr. Joe Dispenza. It's not the first time that I'm listening to him. I have been listening for 3 years, 4 years already. Actually, 3 years and something. And Rhonda from The Secret, and also my my personal coach and my personal mentor, Mina Irfan, that we have to be connected with God and the universe and ask for the things that we wanted. I always wanted to live in the United States. I always want to live in Orlando. But for me to live in Orlando, now that I have a couple or a partner, I need to know if that really is his idea as well. So what happened? It was not his idea because his mom, it was in Puerto Rico with his sister. So we just have this our relationship. I know since I met him that he was very honest, very hard work, and he knows exactly what does he wants. And I know the way that he treats his mom. So I know that he is very committed. And I know the mom is his priority. I had to come to this family and be part of it. Remember, moms, we are very protector, right? So this is the boy. This is mom's baby. This is mom's pride. That boy, that guy, and he is amazing. So when I start seeing that the things that he wants to do in Puerto Rico, many years pass, we get married, we have the baby, we have a 2 years old girl, right? He always wants to have a business. Unfortunate, if you don't have the correct partners, that is something that it won't work. And that happens to us. No correct partners, unfortunate situations. And to go a little bit backtrack, when we married, um, he was running a business and he has a project running by the time that we get married. I told him, let's not to get any honeymoon. Let's just get married. We can postpone the honeymoon. It's not a big deal. And just finish the project and then we go later. So the thing is that he trusts his partner. He left the business with the partner. We came from Puerto Rico to Orlando to Disney World for a week. When we came back, we were bankrupt. We lose everything. And at that moment, how do you deal with that situation? How can you tell your husband now, I told you so? Look what happened. So I have to go and make a decision. I'm just newlywed with a lot of hope. We don't have a kid. We had the kid 2 years after. It was just him and myself. At that moment, I can make the decision to not continue being with him and finish the marriage. That would be the more easier way to do it, right? Because I don't have to deal with the responsibility of what somebody else did to us. At that moment, I just drop any resentment, any situation that gonna put my marriage in jeopardy. Because the guy is super, super good guy. It is worth it. But that doesn't mean that that situation gonna hurt our marriage. So I took myself And I says, if I always had been trust God, that everything goes well and I can do whatever it takes, right? I can go to work because I'm healthy. I can do it. I can do whatever it needs to be done for me to get out of here, for this situation. But that's one thing. So how I can keep my relationship, my respect to him, and I can continue moving forward. So I did both. I took my pride, I took my resentment, I took my maybe upset, my reactions, and I put it away. And I just moved forward as a partner. I made a commitment with that guy already. It says in the good and not that good, right? So it's not time to going out around. So, or I trust myself or I trust God. The situation happened. It doesn't mean that situations are not going to be happening. That situation happened. We step in. We survive. We're here, right? So after that situation happened, we continue evolving. We continue to being together. We're trying to have a business in San Puerto Rico. My husband is studying his bachelor degree in architecture that he loved his career. At that time, we decided to have a girl, a baby girl, and we are in the transition now that we have a daughter. He's finishing school and he's working, doing the business, right? But what happened? This is the moment that when the recession started hitting in Puerto Rico. And the moment that I saw that guy so frustrated, I just hear the shower running in top of his head. When I look and open the door, I saw him sat on the floor, head down, showers running in top of his head without any hope at all. When he says, why are you all with me? Why you're not leaving me? And I said, that would be the more easier way if I leave you. That's what people used to do. People like to run from the situations. But when you put a balance on it, it's not because of my daughter. She is not the reason that I was with him. I was with him before these things happened. I took the time to learn him. I took the time to understand him. And I was so proud of him all the time. I know what he wants. I know who he was. I know how committed he was. I know how respectful he was. So it was easy for me to tell him, yeah, I think we should be walking away and everybody do whatever they wanted with their life and we shared the girl the way we wanted or whatever. But I was continuing trusting God. I know that he put me, that guy in front of me after I manifested. Remember, first it was like, oh my gosh, he's here. He was manifested. I want that guy. That's the guy that I says I could marry him. So now, even in his worst situation, when he thought there was no hopes between both of us, I had to bring God back to us. God always has been there. It's not that God goes around and just disappear. It was my time to tell him, hey, that will be easy, but I will be so mad if I leave you and I see you when the circumstances change on the hands with another woman. And I will tell you something. I prefer to stay with you. I know you. I trust you. I trust God. And I know with the circumstances change it, everything will be perfect the way that we want it. So no, I'm not walking away. I'm not moving from here. And we're going to stay together if you want to stay together with me. At that moment, when I saw him so down and deep in his frustration, I get so much hope and I know who I trust that I was looking for how to can I move from Orlando from Puerto Rico to Orlando and get a job and help him out. But we need to move from Puerto Rico because I didn't saw that Puerto Rico would be the opportunity for us to move forward and for him to grow. So I was looking in a newspaper and there was a little ad that it came from Walt Disney World that it says that they're gonna have an interviews in this place in in a particular days and time. So in Puerto Rico, we learn English at school. We do not speak it frequently or fluently because our first language is Spanish, unless you unless you're working in an office that you're required to talk in English, then you're going to be practicing. If not, it's just what you talk at school or you take a course, you can also practice in and help you with that. I had been done that one way or another, right? It's not perfect. It's not even perfect right now, but I'm trying to do my best. Even it's like that, and I will say my barrier language, I never put that label on myself either. But anyways, we're gonna be talking about that in a few. So the thing is that I saw the ad that Disney World is coming. I decide to go to that interview. And remember that I told you I trust in God and I says, if I go into the interview, I will pass the interview. I passed the interview and I have a little paper that it says Rosalina Escuelen, right? Or Rosalina Alamo because I used to have my name and my dad's last name. So Rosalina Alamo, and the day that I had to be in Orlando for my first day of training with Disney World. That was on April. I think I have like a month and a half to move and have everything ready. When I came back from that interview, my husband came from his job and I told him, hey, I have a job in Disney World. It's time to move. We need to make this decision. I told you that his mom is in Puerto Rico. How hard it is for him make the decision that mom is here, but he has to move with his wife and his daughter to find the happy place for us. It's not an easy decision. So that poor guy is having an issue constantly because the wife wants to move, the mom is in Puerto Rico, and he has to make a decision. We decide to make the decision on May 16, 2006. When we made the decision, I spoke with my aunt and my cousin that she was living already in Orlando, and she offered me to stay in her home. That I'm super grateful that she did it because we have a place to stay. My husband was thinking to stay with his stepbrother, but at the end, we stayed together. So we had this twin bed to sleep, my daughter, my husband, myself, in my cousin's house. When we jump in that, before we jump in the airplane, and when we told my family I'm leaving, my father told me that was the worst decision that I ever made in my life. Follow my husband and my daughter to be happy, to be free. It was not a bad decision. I remember I still crying. I have to tell, not tell. I went to see my grandma, the only one that I have alive, pretty much say bye without her knowing, because she was 90 years old or 80 years old. We don't want to put that stress in her heart or her life and her health. And we take my daughter. She saw her, she kissed her like we used to do pretty much every single Sunday. And it was saying bye without tell her to bye, right? That we were leaving, that we were not going to see each other anymore until everything over here or in Orlando will be good for us to continue traveling back and forth. We have to say bye to our lives in Puerto Rico. We need to find the way to start all over again. But one thing it was important for me, it was the main point. When I learned in the Bible, right, that our religions or our belief says that when you get married, you become one with that person, and you're going to be with that person forever. That was very strong for me. It was a very huge commitment. And despite my dad told me that was the worst decision in the world that I was making. And leaving everything that I know, having my brother at the moment that I was going to the airport telling me that I always making the wrong decisions. That's why I was in the situation that I was. It was enough energy to tell them, you know what? I know what I have to do. I know who I trust because I believe in my husband and in us, but I was trusting God. I know that that was my calling. I know that was my momentum to move. I need to save myself, my husband, and my daughter, and my marriage, and my son. We have a son. We have the son here. So, anyways, we flew. When my husband was in the airplane halfway to Orlando, he says, "Oh my gosh, I feel like the weight that I used to have in my shoulders has disappeared. I know who I was trusting. I know that my movement needs to be done." Now he started to believe in. It's hard to tell him trust God when he is in so much frustration and he doesn't have any hope. When we came here to Orlando, 2006, May 16, we came here with $500 in our pocket, with 2 years and a half girl, baby girl. My aunt and my cousin told me that they're gonna have a car that I can use. When I came, the car has the engine broken. I cannot fit an engine. I don't have money. My husband was sending his resume from Puerto Rico to staffing companies here in Orlando and companies here in Orlando to try to get an interview. So we landed on a Wednesday. We had two interviews. One was on Thursday, the other was on Friday. I told my husband, "You're going to get a job. You're gonna make, you're gonna be earning $45,000 a year." And he started laughing. When we move, we barely have money to buy how you call it? We call it Pampers. When I see people that I have been working with in my office, real estate agents moving for another country and coming in different situations than me. I'm a US citizen in Puerto Rico. I can move back and forth whenever I want it. But it doesn't make the difference. English is my second language. I don't know anyone over here. And I'm moving my family over here with $500 to see and hoping that everything goes well the way that I was imagining. Because I have an idea. That's why I have so much emotion. And that's why I make the decision, because I know in my gut, in my feeling, that everything's going to be okay if I move over here. My husband is trusting me, my emotions, my energy. So when we are making that decision, that transition, and I see agents in my office struggling so much to believe that something good is going to happen here, it breaks my heart. Because if they know all the opportunities that they can find over here, if they have the right mindset, if they believe and they trust. When we came here, I told you my husband doesn't have a job. And my job is going to be starting in June. Who is going to pay for our food? Who is going to pay money in that home that we're going to be staying? We need to provide something. We need to give something. We were living there three miles there. Okay, so we need to eat. We didn't know how. Today that I'm telling you, now I'm thinking that we made a decision without having anything planned. And I manifested this life just trusting God and putting the correct energy and believing that everything is going to be good, that we will be good, that we will be safe. Now I know, thanks to Dr. Dispenza, to Rhonda, and Mina Irfan, that what I have was my calling, that God put me that seed, that I need to listen, that whatever decision I make, I was covered already, that I didn't have to figure it out the how. Because if I'm going to figure it out the how, I need to know how much money I will have to have when I came here with $500 and I don't have a car right now. Because they told me that I have a car, but the car doesn't have an engine. So how can my husband and I can go and get his job or going to his interview? Because during the process that he was sending the emails to the staffing offices or companies, they found him two interviews. But we don't have a car. We rent a car, and our way to the airport, we stay in a place that it says buy here, pay here. I went to that place and I told the guy, I need a car as soon as possible. In that pay here, buy here, pay here, he says what I need to get the car without having my first paycheck. We still have the rent a car. My husband has two appointments. So one was on Thursday, nothing happened. The other one was on Friday. And my daughter and I, we were in the parking lot. He was in the interview. It was a long interview, but I don't know how many people were there. So when that happened, that interview happened, when he came and he opened the door and says, okay, What happened? He says, what you want, the good news or the bad news? You don't know. You give me the bad news first. I always say the good and good, but I was just playing with him. Yeah, give me just the bad news. The bad news. He says, I'm going to start on Monday. Okay. So what is the good news? I'm going to be making $45,000 a year. That was his startup income. And I was so surprised that I saw his face believing that we made the correct decision. Even people told us, at least to me, that it was my worst decision ever. It turned out the best decision ever. And want to tell you today, we're going to continue with this story tomorrow, I promise. What I want to tell you with this is, please do not lose faith. There's nothing more important. It doesn't matter what is your situation right now. I don't know where you're going through. I don't know what is your problems. I don't know what happened in your life. Try to get a time. If you want to cry, cry. If you want to cry, cry. If you want to talk, talk. If you wanted to write it down, write it down. But go back to God. Go back to believe. Go back to trust. And try to put that emotion that you want something different in you and start working on it. It doesn't matter how do you feel today. If you don't feel that you don't want to do it, just do it. Just make the decision to move forward. Here in the United States, I get my second son. I had have two offices of real estate. I had made millions of dollars in sales with me and my team in real estate. My husband finished two bachelor degrees. He had been participating in projects for Universal Studios, Disney World, the government. What else I can tell you? We have been together for 30 years. Just make the decision to trust. Put that energy of hope in your heart. And with that, attach that dream that you have and make a loop and make a little bow and put it as a gift inside of your heart and don't forget about it. Every single day, go to that dream and ask God what else I need to do to make this dream come true. I was telling my daughter that between Mina Irfan, that she is my personal mentor, right? Personal developer, she is amazing. And Dr. Dispensa, I have my aha moment. I always have been manifesting. I have the life that I have because I have everything that I need, that I want. I live the best life that I could ever imagine. But I create it, I manifest it, I believe it, I trust, I enjoy it. And there's so many stuff that I want to do. There's so many stuff that I still have to do. And I just telling you this because I know that I have been making my videos backward. I tell you what I did without telling you where I come from. And you need to know, did I come from the same thing that you came, or maybe a little low, or maybe a little better than you? Because I came from Puerto Rico when English is my second language. So the barrier language, it would be a situation. $500 no job between my husband and myself. But I was so happy and so grateful that everything that it was happening, that I believe and I trust that everything is going to be perfect for me and my family. And I hope that you today can get this information and get it to yourself. Anything that maybe is right now a situation that you feel frustrated, use it as the opportunity to start making changes of your life. That situation is the one that is putting fire on your desire for you to move forward, for you to change your life. So I hope to see you tomorrow. I love to talk to you guys. And I want to continue talking to you how trusting in God now with Dr. Dispenza and Rhonda and Mina Irfan is the heart and brain and soul coherent. It's a connection. It's the trust. It's have the same energy and believe that no matter what, everything will working out for me. I learned that that was a manifestation, but I know it as a trust in God. That no matter what happened, He's always there. I always thought that faith is very small. So why we don't put it to work? And I always like something about Solomon. When Solomon, God asked him, "Ask me whatever you want." He says, "Give me wisdom, just wisdom." When we ask for wisdom, we just ask for guidance. When we know that God is guiding us, everything else is falling in place perfectly. So I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Many blessings. And tomorrow we're gonna continue hearing a little bit more how I come from, where I'm come from, and how I came here and I'm making my empire, my life, how everything changed, all changed. So take care. Bye.